We were in camera to discuss personnel matter and litigation matter that was before.
Yes, we're going to move on to G5, moved by Councilor Foster, second by Councilor Dempsey. Be it resolved that, whereas Council hereby acknowledges that they have been informed by management that the corporation will be unable to meet requirements as outlined in the Interior Building Code, and therefore Council accepts the associated risk with not hiring a building inspector to assist the chief building official at the time.
Okay, so look forward to discussion. Councilor Foster, you make this motion, and I know you have some additional information for us, so I'll let you speak first on the motion.
Yeah, I did a survey of what other communities are doing. Communities roughly our size. Hearst has 3 people in the building area. Parkland has 2. Iroquois Falls has 2. Fort Frances has 1. They've lost a building inspector, but they have someone in the community who have the qualifications, so they're just getting by, but they're rehiring. Cromartie has 1.8. Ferry Sound has 5, but they do surrounding communities. Shannon is 2. Perth is 2+. North Huron is 3. North Middlesex is 1. They have 1 chief building inspector who's backed up by another community, and he only takes vacation a couple of days at a time. Kapuskasing has 3. Hanover is over 2. And Renfrew is 1. So most of these communities,
What? I got a question for them.
yeah,
You said Hanover's got over 2?
yeah. Yeah.
They did it a couple of weeks ago.
Well, they did. I made a phone call there. They have a chief building inspector, a deputy building inspector, a contract building inspector, and they're hard pressed to handle what they have.
Okay.
Okay, and I talked to the chief building inspector.
Yeah, well, they got 7,688 people.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
And 764.
Yeah, and they handle
Square kilometers.
they handle 88 building permits a year.
88 what?
Building permits a
Building,
year.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry, Councilor Foster, is there anything else?
Yeah, well, I don't want to, I'll go let some other people talk, and I'll come back there. I have some more things to say, but.
Sure. I'll speak about this motion as well. I also contacted Hanover, and when I was talking to someone, they actually have, like Councilor Foster said, but they actually have other people that work in the building department that does property standards. That is separate from the chief building official. And then they have one additional person that does property standards and bylaw enforcement. And they also have a secretary that works in that department as well, just for that department. So there's a lot more people in Hanover than just one building inspector. And then if we take a look, they have 88 building permits per year compared to our 200 to 300 that we have per year. And that was to 2017, and that's some numbers that Councilor Foster had come up with. When I take a look at what our requirements are under the Ontario Building Code, some of the things that I am very, very concerned about is that if we do not have the sufficient staff to do our building inspections, and that's to do the mandatory inspections, it has potential insurance consequences for us. It increases the liability towards the municipality. We will have no defense against claims if anything comes back to the municipality because of a lack of inspection, and it might make us more difficult and pay higher premiums to get insurance moving forward. Some of the other stuff that's in this report that I'd like to highlight is the 1.5 building inspectors that was in the service delivery review. That was basically what we had on staff at the time. It wasn't a statement in terms of what the needs were. We've had 2 building inspectors in the municipality to cover the work of the municipality for the past 10 years. So by not hiring or by defeating a motion the last council meeting we are effectively saying we have one building inspector that works in the municipality. And we have a lot more buildings than we've ever had going on. In terms of the new development, we have that huge school project that's going on. We have the development on Queensway. We have a new car wash. We have a new A&W. We have potential for new development going on in the industrial park. And if we have basically the one building inspector that's trying to handle the new developments and then handle all of the summertime requests for building decks and making renovations and people's houses and rebuilding walls and carports, there's going to be a lot of inspections that don't get done. There's probably going to be a lot of people that, because they can't get the time of the building inspector, may choose to not seek out a building permit, and that actually affects what our assessment is. So our assessment from MPAC is tied into the value of the buildings that are being renovated, and we are potentially losing income, tax revenue income, when people seek or choose not to get a building permit. So we know that there's been, the other municipalities have been contacted in the area, and none have building inspectors available to share with us at this time. And you can also see in the KPMG report our comparative municipalities and the number of building inspectors that they have. And we also have, just kind of looking at geography, we have a map that shows the geography of what the whole district of Salisbury and Sugar looks like, so we can understand that when our chief building inspector needs to go somewhere out of town, he's potentially traveling long distances as opposed to just looking at our boundaries in our municipality. So there is a problem, and I would be hesitant to take a look at recognizing these associated risks. I think they outweigh the benefit. Any other comments? Councilor Foster, oh, sorry, I'll go to Councilor General, send you for a chance first.
Okay, so as I said before, I'll say again, I will support the hiring of a temporary building official with the possibility of that going into a full-time position, provided we can renegotiate the agreement with the outlying communities, and provided that the current building permits that we have to have, that procedure go back to community services to look whether or not we have any building permits required that we are not required under the building code, to reduce the number of permits that we have and therefore reduce the workload.
Any other comments? Councilor Duplessis, sorry, Councilor. Go ahead, Councilor Duplessis.
Go ahead, Anthony.
The recommendation is that we accept the risk. That's what I'm saying. I find this is insulting to me. We know the risks when we take on this. We've been trained and we've been around long enough that we are. Why wouldn't we get this before, when anything above the building code that we require permits for in this town has to be bylaw? That's not my opinion, that's a lawyer's opinion. That's what our lawyer, when we had Miss Lawyer, that's what he told us. So why weren't we given this then and said we had associated risk with not having a bylaw for certain permits? So why is this coming out now? Because it's a bigger issue. Still, all of us know the risk we're associating. We have our responsibilities, our due diligence, and I'll never support this motion here. The council will accept the risk.
Councilor Foster.
At best, the building inspector will not be available a third of the time. When you look at his vacation, training requirements, support, about 15% of his time's allocated right now in support of the outside communities. They're paying for that 15% of his salary to food. So there's significant periods where will be available for doing inspections. That's roughly a third of the time. And with that, it's going to be a lot more cumbersome to talk to people. If you want to do a building permit, and so people are likely going to turn around and not get permits if they have to. And there are implications of not performing all the services. Inspection deadlines will be missed, and the contractors legally can go ahead and complete the work, and will be liable for whether the work's done properly. Contractors will be waiting excessively for inspections. That will result for higher costs for them, and that'll raise construction costs for most of the projects in the community. Access to building services will become limited and much less convenient for anybody. Impact records won't be updated accordingly, and that means that the extra tax revenue we have when someone improves the property won't be available. That extra burden will fall on new housing, because if the existing housing stock, as it improves, isn't paying more revenue, the new buildings, which are already requiring a lot of money, paying a lot of money for a new building, okay, the taxes would be higher than they would otherwise be. There's some other implications, like less ability to groom someone for the building official position. Our building official has many years of service, but he's not going to be here forever. And we have no real ability with the equivalent of one building inspector in town to really handle any major new construction projects.
Councilor Nelson?
I would like to request that we sever this into two parts, two separate motions. One to deal with this resolution, and the second one to deal with the building inspector, the actual hire.
The one motion will stand as is. If there's a second motion about hiring a building inspector, that would be a completely separate motion.
Okay,
That
thank
would
you.
require a notice of motion.
Okay,
And then we would vote on whether we will hear the notice of motion, and then we would vote on a motion if it's passed to come to council.
thank you.
Okay? So this is not separable.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on this motion?
On the motion?
This G5.
No, just as Bill was saying earlier. There, almost everybody, except there's a few that have two people that do the work, like building inspectors. There's other locations though that are larger, much larger than our own, and it only takes one to do it. I'm just not sure why it works somewhere, it doesn't work here, you know. And his kilometers, square kilometers is 587. There's another one here, 1,025 square kilometers. No, I've got this for myself. I went to these little places here, and yeah, I mean, and Iroquois Falls, I believe right now they're contracting out. Timmins took them over just the other day. Now, maybe that's something we can do too, I don't know.
I think there's a concern when we are not getting, like, it's great to do independent research, but when we're not comparing apples to apples, like the last meeting, it was clearly stated that Hanover had one. Councilor Foster called the building department, I called the building department. We should have 4 people in the building department, not just one. So we need to make sure that we are comparing apples to apples. So to say that there's a larger area, and there may be a larger area that contains a larger portion of Crown land, we don't know that.
No, that's right, we don't.
So it's really hard to say, well, they have one.
It's the same thing here, though. We've got like 800, I mean, this gentleman, this other guy has 800 we'll say square miles, I don't know if he has or not, but it's somewhere around there. And most of that is bush though,
Right,
you know.
but it's also time to travel. When we have the other building inspector, because he's contracted out, when he is gone and then he requires the services of our chief building official sometimes has to leave the municipality to do that travel as well. And that's a lot of time that it takes when he's traveling inside the municipality. Those are not hours that he's working inside the municipality. So we have to remember the other areas that we're servicing by somebody that's on contract sometimes requires our building inspector official, and he's good. Our municipality covers that cost.
Yeah. Well, I think I would probably go along with Councillor Valentine. Maybe a part-time person or something within so much time for heavy times. But I mean, I know that can be hard too. That might be very difficult.
Right, and we have been informed at the last council meeting that they have looked for a part-time person in the past, and we have heard from our chief building official that has said it's impossible. If someone has the training, they're going to want to not come to Espanola for a part-time person. They're going to want to go to another municipality where they can earn higher wages and do less general work and not be an expert in everywhere. They can just, you know, maybe inspect one area or one thing. So it's already been tried in terms of getting a part-time individual. We've looked at it in the past and haven't been able to. So I think that's also problematic. Okay, so we have a choice to make about this motion. I will acknowledge your comment, Councilor Duplessis, that you thought it was a little bit disrespectful to us as councillors, but I think in terms of us defeating the last motion was very disrespectful to the requests of staff and the requirements. They understand what is needed for the municipality to carry out that role. And I think this council was very disrespectful when we defeated the motion at the last meeting. Disrespectful of the fact that we've already set a budget that includes that wage. Disrespectful of the fact that they said in their expert opinions that we need the second building inspector, and we defeated that motion. So I think there's a lot of disrespect in our acknowledgement of their expertise in that. But we still need to deal with this motion.
Excuse me, I was fine until you made that comment. So I was, but I do take exception to that comment.
Okay.
At the last council meeting, we acted in what we believed was the best interest, given the information we have. And at no time does that ever justify any employee or an employee of the CEO offering ultimatums to council.
I don't believe that this is an ultimatum.
Excuse me, please, may I finish?
You may.
Okay. I can sit down and have a cup of tea and discuss anything with anyone. But as I was always raised, if you have something to say, it makes a huge difference in the manner and how you say it and the words. Because people can say the same sentence and have two different meanings. And I do take exception to the way this could very easily be perceived. I realize that it may be part of you were trying to emphasize what you were saying to us, but Madam Mayor, when you just commented a minute ago, I do take exception to that.
Okay. Fair enough. I also take exception to council disregarding staff advice. I take grave exception to that, and that's what we had chosen to do. So this item G5 has come up as a result of that, that we will not be able to meet the requirements of the building code. That was made clear last time. And so that there's associated risks. And we need to acknowledge that by not hiring a building inspector, we need to acknowledge that this municipality is going to take on those risks. And that's what this motion is stated.
Doesn't council take the risk anyway?
But this is,
Without
this is
saying-
this is a very large risk. This is a risk, this is, to go back to the staff report, this is a risk, in terms of, town insurance. If someone chooses to sue the municipality, we may not have coverage. We don't have a defense if we have not inspected.
Everything that's stated in here, I mean, there's a lot of articles that's stated. If we're talking one or two of them in any given week or 2 weeks or a month, that would be at best. I mean, yes, all these things can happen, but will they? Like, I understand we put everything forward, and then we have to make a decision based on that. So we try to go out and find some other relative workings around this area, and we try to achieve our goal that way. We look at both sides, though. Both sides is being looked at. The fact that we don't always agree doesn't make us wrong. Just we don't agree. And we all have our cross to bear.
What do you mean by that? Sam?
Well, I mean, we're trying to save money, and I mean, I'm sure everybody is, and I know that we can make life a lot easier if we hire somebody, and that's true, we can, and I would love to do that. But, man, we spent a lot of money not too long ago, and you know, it's, the pockets are deep, but the people care.
Okay, so as it was pointed out, the full cost of building services on an average residential is $35, and that includes the cost of 2 building inspectors, and that is what we've approved already. And so it is not, once we've approved the budget, that's where our fiduciary responsibility lies to the taxpayers. We've approved that. And so we need to move forward with what is recommended by staff in this area. And there was immediate call for a hiring freeze and immediate decline in terms of hiring that building inspector. So we are taking risks more than ordinary out of that decision. And I think we in terms of our insurance, we will be considered to be acting in bad faith. When we act in good faith, we are doing whatever we can to meet the requirements of the Ontario Building Code, and by acknowledging that we will not be able to meet the Ontario Building Code, that would be an acting in bad faith. And I think that's where this has really come out of in terms of the large hole that we're leaving behind in terms of the decision of the last meeting. Councilor Dufour.
I concur with both Ken and Maureen with G5. That should be stricken. Should sever that.
We can't sever it. It's yes and
No, you can pull it out. You can put them in, you can pull them out. You said that not a couple times. You can actually take this out of here. And if you want the council to do it, well, maybe we can do it as a council.
we could defer it to come back because there is talk about another motion to hire a building inspector, whether it be part-time or whatnot. That motion should potentially proceed this way.
It should have been just information.
Okay, we could defer this motion to the next council meeting to see what comes up as a result of the motion. Can I get, what's that? We can vote on it as well, and we can carry it or defeat it. It's that choice will be council's.
It's up to you.
I call for the question.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion is defeated.
Effectively, that means that we do not accept the risk.
We do not accept the risk. Do we have a notice of motion forthcoming? Yes.
I can go ahead, okay.
Yep. There's a, we have a motion. So it's in people.
Doesn't mean we don't accept the risk.
Can you write it? I'll tell you what to write.
I can try.
My hand's shaking. Okay, so, be resolved that the service agreement of Lions terminated
Slow down. Service agreement at the, what?
with Orion's Valley.
This is mine, really.
L-Y-I-N.
Okay, this is the share.
Municipality. The terminated. Agreement. Terminated. And a new agreement be negotiated. Pending
Right, I'll spell it. That's all right. Pending.
the hiring
Of the hire? Yeah.
independent hiring of a temporary, possibly full-time building inspector. And furthermore, that community service review,
Services.
review,
Oh, is that there? Write it all down, eh? I can't remember.
review
Review.
building permits. And whether or not any can be streamlined.
Let's see if I can read it. See if you can read it.
And reduce an unnecessary
Okay. And reduce unnecessary.
unnecessary
Sorry.
permits.
Permits, okay.
You're gonna read it over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the same one.
No, I do too.
Excuse me. Wow.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, I
Better than mine.
Sure.
Okay, so we have another motion moved by Councilor Van Alstine, seconded by Councilor Dufour, be it resolved that the service agreement with the outlining municipality be terminated and a new agreement be negotiated pending hiring or full-time building inspector, and furthermore, committee services review the building permit, and if they can be streamlined and reduce unnecessary permits.
Okay, so, the vote is for just to accept this as a motion, to have the motion, be dealt with the council. All in favor? Okay, so that's carried.
Okay, so moved by Councilor Van Alstine, seconded by Councilor Dufour, be it resolved that the service agreement with the outlying municipalities be terminated and a new agreement be negotiated pending the hiring of a temporary or full-time building inspector, and furthermore, the committee service review the building permit to streamline and reduce the unnecessary permits.
Okay, I'll open up the floor for discussion. My concern with the wording of this motion is that the service agreement with the outlying municipality be terminated. There's no timeline associated with that. As was stated earlier, that we may not be able to do that effective immediately.
It states in the contract agreement that it is renewable on January the 1st, and a letter in writing must be submitted by September 1st. That's part of the agreement, I believe.
And the second,
Which is a green paper issue with the wording of that. That was downstairs on camera. Councilor Van Alstine, we don't,
You asked about a date, how else could I answer that?
right, you need to be careful in terms of what you're releasing in terms of information, please. Okay, the other thing that I'm concerned with this, that I don't understand with this motion, is that the termination of the agreement is pending the hiring of a temporary or full-time bylaw inspector? What do you mean? Which one comes first?
We will temporarily look to hire a building permit with a building inspector with the view to full-time if we can negotiate a new contract.
Okay. Do you need further direction with how this is worded?
Well, I think it's clear that the agreement's terminated, so I'll provide notice and we'll go from there.
Okay, but it's pending the hiring, which means it may not be terminated. That's what I don't understand.
The contract would be terminated on time, and we can look at renegotiating depending on whether or not we can get a part-time building
Okay,
inspector.
I see what, where you're going with the wording. I understand that now. Okay, any other questions or comments? Councilor Foster?
I think the likelihood of hiring a part-time building inspector is about 0.
The motion does read pending the hiring of temporary or full-time building inspector,
Or full-time?
or full-time.
Okay.
That is stated in the motion. Okay, any other questions or comments? Councilor Foster?
I kind of think this is redundant and crazy, okay? And that we're gonna turn around and take our surrounding communities and put them in a position where they don't have a building inspector, or maybe don't have a building inspector, and are unable to hire a chief building inspector, which they need. We're just gonna antagonize them for no real economic benefit for our community.
I agree with that. Would you
That's my
like-
opinion, okay?
Would you like to propose a word change to this motion?
Well, I think we should reconsider the other motion we had last week, but I can't make a motion to reconsider it because I voted it for.
I would like to propose a wording change. I'm just considering the wording. Councilor Van Alstyne.
Okay, so yes, I do want to terminate the contract, but it's to renegotiate another one as well. And you have to end one contract before you can negotiate another one. And if they're looking for more services, that would also have to be negotiated in there. And the only way to do that is to end one and negotiate another one. Just for clarification.
Okay, you know what, and that is part of this motion. I'll read it again, just so because we're not reading it in front of us. It says the service agreement with the outlying municipality be terminated and a new agreement be negotiated. So that's in there as part of that, pending the hiring of a temporary full-time building inspector. Furthermore, the community services review the building permits to streamline and reduce unnecessary permits.
So pending the hiring of a part-time or full-time?
Or full-time is how the motion is.
So that means this motion then will allow staff to go out and try to find a part-time or full-time employee?
Yes.
Okay.
And it also does talk about renegotiating the contract with the other municipalities, so it's not leaving them out to dry. Okay, I'll call the motion. All in favor? Okay, the motion is carried. Okay, moving on, we have, it's just for information, a staff report on fire hall costs. And there were some concerns about what some of the costs were that were over above. So we can see that it's very clearly stated as of June 25th, 2019. Any questions on that? Okay, we also have another report from administration about the council training budget, that we're approaching our budget for this year. And they've allocated some of the costs.
My apologies.
Thank you. We've included some of the costs for the annual conference in August. We do understand that this is the first year for counselor, so there's been new counselor training that's over and above what is usually done for training. So that's for information as well. Yes.
Sorry, if I could just add to that, because I just got an invoice notification from the integrity commissioner on the code of conduct training. So what we normally do in a group like that is divide it amongst the counselors, and the total bill for that was just over $7,000.
Thank you.
7,000.
Travel costs are expensive. Okay, so we have a list of information that was circulated to all employees. So if you need a copy of that, please see the municipal staff. So off to mayor and council reports and announcements. Anybody want to start looking for volunteers tonight?
I have nothing.
Okay, that's one. Nothing.
I had two questions. I didn't attend any meetings, but in the spring, I believe it was, or thereabouts, a person came in, a taxpayer came in, they had water hookups that was into their garage, and they were given till this summer, I believe, to disconnect. Has that been done?
Yes.
And
Thank you.
the other one, the investigator we had that at the last meeting, I asked you whether or not you'd gotten the report.
Oh, you know what? I have, like, in the last 2 weeks, I haven't even called him back.
Okay,
I apologize.
okay.
And I was out of town, I came back just for this meeting. So I'll probably, and I don't have cell service where I'm at.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
I'll get right on that next week. I'll leave
Okay,
a note for myself.
okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. I guess we're around to see proceed.
No, thanks, Sharon.
I don't have anything.
And I don't have anything either. So future council meetings, the next regular meeting of council is August 13th. And then we're back to corporate services at the beginning of September. And since September reminds me that fall is coming. Okay, I have a motion to adjourn by Councilor Duplessis, seconded by Councilor Foster. We will resolve that the regular meeting of council is hereby adjourned at 8:38 p.m. All in favor? Okay, the motion is carried.